Alright, I'm back with another Destiny 2 video. I resisted the temptation to make this about the new Ghostbusters collaboration that Sony is apparently strongly suggesting Bungie do ahead of the release of their new Ghostbusters sequel. I already wrote an article about it, I tweeted about it, so maybe that's piling on if I do a video about it. I don't promise I won't talk about collabs like that later, but for now, I wanted to be negative about something else. Yay! This time it's Guardian Games. I did write, speaking of collabs, I did write an article about this a couple of days ago about how it's kind of a mess. And though there's some cool things in here, like the introduction of the hoverboard, even if the way to get it is not amazing, I am starting to be under the opinion that Guardian Games should be retired. I don't think this is a very good event at this point. They keep trying to make it work, and I just don't think that it ever actually does. It's this idea of, a competition between classes, and every single year it becomes, all this drama about how do we make it so hunters do not dominate the event because they are 50% plus of the player population. Well, most of the time they do dominate, and this year more than ever, for reasons I'll get to, Titans and Warlocks have won the event, but they have to just so heavily tilt things in their favor. It's like, did they actually win? Did they just screw with the algorithm enough where it worked and they won? Probably. It's really hard to kind of take the whole competition aspect of it seriously, and the way they implement this is just not very fun. You have the main thing they usually try to do here. They do these, some sort of activity where you're running things with other members of your class. For the most part, you can just sort of ignore this. It doesn't really, you sort of know it's happening, but it is usually just sort of playing an activity as normal. And then every so often you realize oh yeah, it's two or three other hunters or warlocks or whatever. It just feels like you're playing a normal Crucible game or Gambit game or whatever, and you're just, fighting the other team, and, oh, yeah, they're hunters, boo, hunters. It's no, they just had a really good invader. It doesn't really matter what their class is. We lost Gambit. They have a super pro Crucible guy, or Nightfalls. We had a person who really knows what they're doing, which is all you really want from a Nightfall, regardless of class. And this time around, they broke both Crucible and Gambit's class v class, which apparently does not work anymore. I think you can still select it, but I don't know. There was a big announcement that it didn't work anymore, so I don't know what's going on with that. It said it wasn't working because of some technical issue that was causing errors. I don't know. So this year, what they did, that they tried to be different, but all they did was made things worse. Is they have this thing called a focused activity, where every so often they'll pick one of these and it'll be a focus activity for I think 2 hours. And you're supposed to join with a class, and then when you run an activity with that class, you're committed to that class for what I believe is not the whole event, but for that specific block of time. And if you reach a certain score threshold, you will get a award package, but the most important thing you want is you want to win. And if you win, your class wins, you get a focus champion package. And this is kind of the big kahuna for reasons I will explain. So I got to empty my metal case, deposit that for some sick glimmer. I'm assuming that was bronze metals. And then you open this, and it is every single metal to fill up your case entirely. So you dump all these in, you get a ton of stuff. I probably shouldn't be doing this because I have not spent my memento yet, the deeply annoying system where you can only hold one memento at a time. I am running out of crafted weapons I care about to use these mementos on, so you keep doing this, you get a bunch of loot. Yay, this is the thing you want. Look how much friggin' loot this is. So that's from one of these sessions. Hopefully my postmaster isn't screwed up. You will get all that loot, all those medals for depositing. You get 300 points toward your quest medal score. No, not that. For trying to keep your. Wait, was that even 300? I don't even think that was 300. To keep the hoverboard for the end of the quest. Although you don't really need the medals, you just need to do that 3 times. The problem, of course, is that when this is up, you can see the point standings, and in every single instance, hunters are winning. Hunters have the most points. So if you see hunters winning, what are you going to do? You're going to join on your hunter. You only have to play one activity for it to count, and then you're going to leave. And everyone is doing that, essentially, except for people who maybe don't have alternate hunters and only have a Titan or Warlock. And hunters win every single time. So in order to unlock this, you just need to do that 3 times. And again, it's just like none of this matters. There are smaller things that are issues. Where the hell did they even put the freaking statue anymore? Does it not appear until the event's over? They've been doing this for years, but it's like this tiny little joke of a statue that changes the gold color of whatever animal symbol wins that year. It's like they should have a goddamn tower that's like, you know, a statue of Zavala or Ikora, or I guess maybe Cade if we're doing it in tribute of hunters, like for the whole year. It should like be a freaking tower somewhere instead of this little tiny thing you can avoid, and then that switches every year. It was like some sort of bonus. They don't have that. Also, I really don't like the aesthetic of Guardian games. This is maybe a personal choice, but this really harsh primary color, red, yellow, blue thing, which as you can see appears on the gear and makes it unshadable to a certain extent. I just bought the new armor with bright dust. So is it, I don't even know which one it is here. Is it this? No? That's the White Wolf Cowl. Is it this one? The first one? Okay. So where is, have they gotten better? Okay. Well, on a lot of these they still have the shaders not really being able to be shaded. Maybe I'm wrong about this year's. Maybe it is better. Yeah, they have that, but I've seen worse. I don't really love the aesthetic in general is what I'm saying. Like, I think it's just sort of tacky. Some people may disagree with me, and that's probably not an important thing. But I just don't think this works. I think it's just, it's kind of erased the idea of like a true class competition. It's just fiddling with the algorithm to make sure hunters don't win too badly and often failing to do that. And it's just like this every year. So I think it should be replaced with another event. There are a few options here. They got rid of Crimson Days, which was their really small scale. As we're doing this, I can look through roles. Their really small scale, like Valentine's Day event that was not really anything of significance. It had some neat cosmetics. It had a neat mode, but it is something that feels like it could have been developed more, and it just wasn't. I hate all of the freaking titles. Right, well, I'll just do this later. And it's something that I guess could be expanded. I think it could have a cooler aesthetic. I think you could do more interesting things with sort of like bonds of friendship, running, or bonds of true love running activities. I think that could be fun outside of just the 2-man Crimson Days PvP stuff. And other options, bringing back Revelry. Revelry was a little weird because I didn't really love the aesthetic of that either, but it was probably better than this. I think the Revelry set for a long time was the only Eververse armor I didn't own because it was very ugly. That was a weird event because it was it was using the Infinite Forest from the Halloween event, but just reskinning it. And there was one year where they did it where it was just like you could spam a super like no less than every 8 seconds. And it was like the biggest joke where it was like you could go infinitely, like what you were supposed to be able to like keep pushing and pushing. And it was just impossible to lose. So you would just quit out of boredom. So that was kind of a weird event. I'm not sure that's the best option. The dream, of course, is Sparrow Racing League. And I have said repeatedly that I do not believe that Sparrow Racing League can ever return. And maybe now that would include hoverboards, Hoverboard Racing League. Sorry, Skimmer Racing League. It's a lot more work than I think people think to build. You have to build out entire racetracks, which cannot really just be existing levels. Like if you recall, those SRL tracks were like really specifically designed instances for, these specific racetracks. And also, it wasn't really the most played thing. They seem to imply it didn't really justify the investments, and that was one of the reasons that they didn't keep doing it. However, I mean, it's pretty clear that at this point the children cry out for Sparrow Racing League. Like they've been saying this for years. It does sort of still have that like competitive spirit vibe. It wouldn't necessarily have to be class competition. You could make it a manufacturer's competition between, you know, Dido and Amalan and whatever Tux Mechanica and like these different weapon brands. If, you know, factions are dead and we don't need to do a class thing, it would kind of channel F1. And obviously F1 has been really, really, really popular as of late, surging popularity after F1 Drive to Survive kind of introduced a whole new generation of people to it, myself included. I hate sports. I really like Drive to Survive, and I'm like very into like F1 drama now, more the drama than the races actually. But it seems like it could be a good time to do something like that. And there's a lot of potential there. I mean, you can design racing sparrows. They did actually do something that was really close to a Red Bull Sparrow at one point, which I thought was pretty fun. I forget what that was called or when that was, but it was pretty recent. And I just think the potential is there for like a bunch of cool racing sparrows you could earn. Like, yeah, sure, put some in Eververse. I know you're going to. But the idea, oops, I guess I can reset Banshee, but didn't really know I was even maxed here. That would be kind of a cool vibe, I think, above and beyond what Guardian Games is, getting rid of this class competition and worrying about hunters winning. Like with the automotive brands or the weapon brands, I guess, you wouldn't really have to worry about that kind of balancing as much because, like, who cares? You could bring back the really, really great sleek racing SRL armor sets. I think there are a lot of cool potential options for, you know, really kind of modern, slim, futuristic, cool-looking racing-inspired sets that, you know, you could have one of those every year. I don't think it would be hard to come up with a new version of that more than once. And, you know, these Guardian game sets, it's just, let's do something kind of fancy and put some gold on it. And, like, it's, you know, we're not exactly reinventing the wheel here with these. As you can see, I'm only one stage into the Crucible ones because, you know, whatever. It's kind of a pipe dream. I don't think it's something that's going to happen because Bungie has been putting a little more work into the events lately, and I think they have gotten better. I think earning mementos is a kind of a cool thing if they would just let you stack them more and they weren't so rigid about that. They've done a lot of upgrading on the weapons where there's some genuinely really great roles to go for, so that's something. But the activities themselves, it's like there is no activity here. It's like run the activities you normally run. Maybe you'll be with class people, like in Nightfalls you have like a surge. That's kind of it. It's just, it's nothing really that, you know, inspiring. And like, you know, you can say that's true about other events too. Like the Dawning isn't exactly, you know, making us rush out and do super fun things. And then we're, for Solstice and for Festival of the Lost, we're rerunning the same activities we've done for 4 years now. So that part is stale, to say the least. But I personally am just sort of over Guardian Games and all this, like, it's totally defeating the purpose when, like, I'm just going on Hunter to run an activity to pick up an awards package. Like, why even have this class competition idea at all if it's just never really going to work and, like, people don't, like, it doesn't work to such a degree that people don't even care about it anymore. I do think it would be time to bring back SRL. It's just, this is probably not the time period of Destiny where everything is going so swimmingly, where they can devote a bunch of resources to the resurrection of SRL. That is unfortunate. I mean, they did devote resources to making a friggin' hoverboard, so that was cool, but that's different than, like, building out entire racing levels. So that is sort of my hope. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're probably just going to keep doing Guardian games because it's easy to keep just doing Guardian games. They're just going to keep doing these little tweaks. And, like, I remember they were advertising this ahead of time. They're like, this year we're going to, you know, we're going to have some more things that encourage, like, class v class competition. And, like, this is where we are now. And, like, it didn't work at all. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. So those are my thoughts on Guardian games. No more thoughts on Ghostbusters, Shells and Sparrows. We'll do that later. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Oh, wait, I found it. Here's the thing that doesn't reshade. Oh, wait, that was the other one. This is the one that's the class item for the whole thing. I still have to pick this up on all the classes. Anyway, false alarm. Maybe the armor set this time around does shade okay, but yeah, We'll see. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.